folks, as always, raise your hand and we'll get a mic to you. Start up here in the front with Daryl.
Hey, Cal. The defense you guys played in New York again tonight, this early in the year, how much of that is knowing schematically what to do and how much of it is just grit and determination?
Probably both, but we got veterans. So when you're starting 4 veterans and then that one guy, and the one that's playing is learning, but he's really good, Khalil, defensively. He's active, he's long. He gave up 3s today, which we got to show him why he did it. But he can stay in front of a guy. He can still block it if you get by him. He's learning to, stay engaged. He's never had to before. Today, Keon played a lot of minutes. I want to play more minutes. And then today, he did, and he died. And I'm like, yeah, you got to get in better shape. But Ashton is so ridiculous defensively. I just got to get him disciplined so he's not getting dumb fouls, because we got to have him on the floor. Tyrese didn't score it as well today as he had been, but how about a kid that good and he's accepting, kind of like Shea, that he's coming off the bench right now, and he says, I trust you. That's what he said to me today. I trust you. Nick, so much better than a year ago. Then you say, well, you must be really pumping him up, saying great things. No, he's in the greatest shape he's ever been in, and he's built his own confidence now. It doesn't matter what I say now. And it doesn't matter what I say if you're not in great shape. You're not going to have confidence. He still has a ways to go, but he's way better. Nate makes our team different. He talks, he hustles, he scrambles. He's got an unbelievable spirit out there. And I watched the Michigan State tape today because I'd watched Eastern Kentucky a couple different times. So I watched that one, and I didn't realize how well Emmanuel quickly played defense in that game until I watched it for a second time, and he was ridiculous. So, Johnny, I wish he'd have made a couple baskets just to get him going, but, he got minutes and he's going to get his feet wet. But they're playing hard. They're trying.
Yeah, Oscar on the right. You're good, Oscar.
Yeah, you guys struck out to a 14-0 run, 3 times, forcing into 5 turnovers. How much better do you think this defense could be for you guys?
Well, the whole thing is the way we're trying to play. We got to play some pick and rolls another way. It's working what we're doing, but you're going to play people that can go against it. So what's the other way we're going to play pick and roll? We got to rebound. Nick, he had 3 or 4 rebounds for a majority of the game, and then he went in and got 4 or 5 or 6. The guy that's coming up with every scrappy ball is Ashton. So I had to remind him that he is not in the game now. So who's going to be that guy? And so that's the kind of stuff that we still got to go with, and then we got to figure out. This was a good game, and I want to tell you, Easton's going to do fine. The way they play to scramble up the game was good for my team. We didn't run much today because you didn't need to. They spaced the court, and my team did exactly what we wanted. I wish we'd have made a few more 3s, but we went at the rim. We had lobs. Some of the turnovers were unforced. We just played fast without pace. In other words, you play fast, but you have pace as you finish the play. You don't rush into the play. But that's freshman learning. So this was a great game for us to speed us up. How would we play? What would our decision-making be? So it was pretty good.
Second rider.
Can you just comment on the status of AJ Montgomery?
He's hurt.
Do you know about how long he'll be in?
It's day to day.
Jerry.
Now, what did you think of Nick as a rim protector?
It was good today. How many blocks did he end up with?
I think 4.
4 blocks. I mean, if he gets 4 blocks every game, he leads the nation in shot blocking. Again, let me just say this. I told him, there was a Hall of Fame buddy of mine who played in the league, and he said, if you give him 2 things, he watched him in New York and said, unbelievable, his feet, how he's playing, how he's running. And he said, if he does 2 things, try to outrun the ball on offense and defense. If you outrun the ball on defense, you'll be back there to block shots and rebound and do stuff. If you outrun the ball on offense, you're going to get some easy baskets and post up with a wide open floor. That's pretty simple stuff. Then he said, and then every shot that's taken, he should expect it to be a miss. Now you think if we can get Nick doing those two things, forget about everything else. Just do those two things. EJ would be the same, plus create contact, look for contact, don't run from it, because you'll build your confidence that way. But getting in shape and all those kind of things, important for those two.
All right.
Now you talk about the getting in shape and all that, and confidence, but also Nick, to me, looks like he actually understands where to be a lot more.
And he's talking to his team. How about that?
I mean, you obviously had to sort of educate him on the game a little bit. How has that happened that he's advanced this much?
He's been here 3 years. You know, it's funny. We, like, you know, PJ staying 2 years. Boy, that was awful. What are you talking about? He wasn't ready to go and be who he is right now. Nick wasn't. Nick walked in my office at the end of the year and said, I'm not even putting my, I don't want to, I know I'm not ready. But you look at him now, how about how he plays pick and roll defense? How he's moving his feet, how he's running the floor. He's still not getting balls that we need. He's getting some balls jerked from him. But it's gonna, this is our second game. So I'm proud of him.
Eric Keith.
Who's doing that, squeaking? Do you know it was smelled in this place today? Did you guys, it smelled in the locker room?
Just back by you.
No, it smelled in everything. It was in our locker room. How'd it get in there? We're self-contained. You got squirrels up in there or something. I don't know what it is.
Go ahead, Keith.
But then, John, are the other players following Ashton on defense?
Yeah, but Nate's doing it. I mean, Manuel quickly. I mean, when you look at how active we are defensively, it's our guard play. And again, I'm trying to put all three of those guards in together some. You know, I did it a couple different times today, and we're fast. And I still have to figure out, you know, how do we play. Look, I said it yesterday, for Khalil and Keon and even Johnny, they're not used to playing random basketball. When they catch the ball, they look. If you remember the play that Emmanuel made, where we threw it at the top of the key, and as soon as he caught it, he knew he had a drive, and he just caught it and went, and then got to the rim and got fouled. They can't do that. They'll catch it and square up, and the defense adjusts, and now it's a tough shot. That's going to take us a month or two. So right now, I got to create some stuff for them, but we did, and they got pushed off screens. So now the guy came down the screen for them, and they got pushed off the screen and really didn't get anything. It was their play. So we got work to do on how we're going to play. How are we going to play with three guards? I got an idea, a couple tweaks I'd like to do offensively that I talked to them about, but we didn't have time. We had to work on the press for a day and a half. We did nothing versus the press until yesterday, and then today in the shoot around. So I couldn't spend much time on offensive stuff.
Go in the middle.
Yeah, Cal, 7 guys had 9 points or more in this game. Were you expecting that kind of balance this early?
That's what we'd like to have. I mean, you know, that means you're passing the ball. I love the fact we had 17 assists, or 18 turnovers, way too many. Tyrese had 4 at half. I said, what are you going to do, double-double? 10 turnovers and 10 points? What are you doing? So he didn't have any in the second half. But again, Ashton had a couple just being sloppy. But you look at Emmanuel, 5 assists, 1 turn. Ashton, 5 assists, 3 turns. I mean, you know, we're doing some good stuff.
Cal, a follow-up on Tyrese. I noticed the moment late in the first half, he's sitting on 0 after kind of being a talk of the nation with 26. And the first game, you bring him over, make a point to him. He takes it, and he's the first guy over there kind of standing up, cheering for the guys still on the floor. Kind of wondering about his coachability. Is that his?
He's the greatest. He just said, I trust you. Believe me, by the end of the year, what you saw in New York will be even another level. what you saw, because he can make all those plays. But this is a game where we needed to have 7 guys with 9 points. We needed to have that. And he accepted it. How about that? It's hard because these kids, they're hearing about them. And they got to come here and they got to really share and trust. They got to trust each other. They got to trust the coaching staff. Because everybody always says, how in the world do you get all these All-Americans they were the only guy on their team and took all the shots to come in here and share? They're good kids from good families. If they weren't, they can't be here. You can't come here saying I'm taking 25 shots every game. You can't. You can't have one guy taking 45% of the shots. You can't. Or 2 guys taking 60% of the shots. You can't. Somebody else can do it. We can't do it here. This is, everybody has their opportunity. And again, even with Tyrese not having the big game, do you think anybody's opinion of him has changed? Did you see how hard he played and how he defended and what he did? And I mean, numbers don't matter here. That's the greatest thing. They only matter in an ego way to either the kid or the people around him. It's only ego. Either you can do this or you can't. Numbers don't matter at Kentucky. They don't.
John, opening the season in the Garden, how curious were you about how the team would respond the second game out, and is that a sign of team maturity in any way?
Well, the thing that worried me is watching the tape. Eastern Kentucky really would get after you and press and scramble. And I don't know if we told you, when we played Kentucky State, they were supposed to play man-to-man. Like, we had not done one thing with zone. And I basically say, we're having you in as an exhibition, you play man-to-man. And he said, okay. And they played 40 minutes of zone. And I had to talk them through that. Well, because of all the stuff, when you have a young team, there's steps that you got to do, and you got to do these before you move on. We have not worked on press, no press attack until yesterday. So my fear was we're not ready to go against the press. Now we turned it over 18 times, so maybe we weren't. But I like the fact that we rushed it up. We took easy baskets. We were the aggressor even though they pressed. But that was my worry. But when I watched the beginning of the game, and I did tell them this too, do you want to negate the press? I said, how do you do that? You want me to ask you guys? Because none of you will know. How do you negate the press? Say it. You played, because Jerry never played, so he didn't know. I mean, none of these other guys knew. I mean, you have to get stops. If you get stops, they can't press you. So I said, don't let them score. They won't press you one time. So it's, anyway.
Last one, front left.
With Keon, it looked like you got on him a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
There.
Oh, yeah.
What was the adjustment you needed, and how impressed were you to see he just came right back and got a couple buckets right there?
He is one of the greatest kids of all time. How about, instead of shooting threes, shoot twos? Like, you can make them. You don't have to shoot a three. Be who you are. We have no one like Keon. We don't have a guy like that. He's not like Tyrese, and Tyrese is not like Emmanuel, and Emmanuel's not like Ashton. Khalil is totally different. We don't have another 7-footer like Nick. EJ and Nate, they're all different. His game is 2-point shots. So just take those. But I like the three. You shot an air ball. Why would you just take twos? And he missed some free throws, which really surprised me today. I don't know what he had, but he missed 4 free throws, did he?
I think it was 1 of 6 or something. 1 of 6.
Yeah, he missed 5 free throws. So again, don't want to hear it. I make you free throws and you're fine. So, but it was, look, to come off what we did up there, we got back at 4:30 in the morning. Yeah, the day after was film session, because what? And then we came and practiced and did press. If you were at our practice, you would have known in an hour and a half I spent on the press, because that's all we could do. And then today's shoot around, and we play the game, and we have this kind of energy. I was really happy about it.
Thanks, Rob. Nate, Nick, and Keon, have 2 minutes.